Hey everybody, here you are, here we are, we're about to get started. This is whoa! So I'm getting a playback on me. Oh no, I think that, okay, hold tight everybody. We've got some slight technical difficulties. Our master engineer, Gons, is figuring it out as we speak, and I don't know if you're hearing what I'm hearing, but I'm stuck in some sort of time warp where my own voice is playing into my own head with about a 3-second delay, which is about the most disruptive thing I've ever experienced. But look at me go. This is good practice for, I don't know, some sort of apocalyptic broadcast situation. I'm just going to keep going. I'm glad you guys are here. We are... Oh man, I just sent out the text message. Here's a little thing. If you want to get text message alerts for when the show goes live, go ahead and text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. It's 877-740-3226. Just text Canary to that. You'll be put on the list. We don't take any of your personal information. We don't even have your name. We don't have your, I don't know, any of the other crazy stuff, your device IDs or anything. It's a nameless number that gets a message from us, which makes it even more odd when some of you text back to me and say hi. Remember, I can't text you if you text me back, but if you text back, I do see it. And I'll tell you what, we got a lot of silly gooses out there. I appreciate it very much. Let's see here. Woo. I'm still getting... Okay, I'm talking real quick to see if we have fixed the problem. The problem has not been fixed. I wonder if that's a me problem. Okay, I am told it's not a me problem. That's good news. Okay, let's see who here. We're on Rumble, we're on DLive, we're on Twitch, I think. We're on YouTube, of course. Maybe you might be on Odyssey. I'm not really sure, actually. But wherever you're watching the show, welcome. Oh, X. We're on X. We're going to get started here real soon. We're having just some very slight technical difficulties. So I'll take the opportunity to give a shout out to the Rumble viewers. We got Awesome Vito, Jack7, JCS77. What's up, everybody? Let's see, over on YouTube, we got, Sir Darren out of the Hungry Pandas on live. Dead Sea Scrolls Gaming, Sandra, Psalm 40's here, everybody. All right, Liar Bliss, what's going on? One Lousy Petunia, very faithful member of the live crew here. Thank you very much for being here. While I'm at it, I'll remind everybody that they can go to canarycrynewstalk.com, look for a green tab on the bottom or the right-hand side, and a little pop-up will appear, and you can leave us a voice message. Remember, you can use this for whatever you want. You can ask us questions, give shout-outs, tell a story, do whatever you want, tell a joke. That'll be played during one of the producer breaks. Or you can leave a little pre-show prayer. That's right, spiritual producing the show. Be a spiritual producer by leaving a prayer, and we'll play those pre-show prayers at the top of the live show. While you're at it, let's see here. I already did the text message thing. The text message thing. Did the voicemail thing. Well, I will say, here's an update, just in case anybody is out there waiting patiently for the Canary Cry supply drop. This is the first supply drop that we are putting Age of Deceit 1, Fallen Angels, and the New World Order. Very excited about this. As I've mentioned before, we are having some manufacturing issues. So we've been a little bit late on sending that package out. But I want to tell everybody the manufacturing issues have been solved. Things are in motion, and the supply drops should be heading out to everybody very soon. Very soon. Thank you for your patience and your continued support. It really means a lot. And if you're not getting the supply drop, go check it out. Go to canarychristsupply.com. It's not just a great way to support the show for $33.33 a month. That's just $2.77 per episode. It's not just that. It is that, but it's not just that. But also, myself and producers get a chance to create all the strange, weird, hilarious ideas for products that we have on the show. And every quarter, we're sending them out to the Canary Cry Supply Drop. This whole year, we'll be sending out, with the supply drop, DVDs of the Age of Deceit series as a countdown to Age of Deceit 4. Yes, the long-awaited fourth sequel to the Age of Deceit series. Gonza's masterpiece work that will forever overshadow everything that I ever do. But Age of Deceit 1 is going to be coming through in this first supply drop, and then there will be Age of Deceit 2, Age of Deceit 3, and then for next year, Age of Deceit 4. Gonz is trying to talk to me, but I'm right in the middle of pitching his film, so he's going to have to wait. And now I'm done. What would you like to say, Gonz? I can hear you, yes. Riveting. Kinda. I mean, I'm still hearing an echo of my own voice into my head. It would be impossible. I mean, oh, did it stop? Okay, sounds like a routing issue. Open up some settings. Gonz is claiming that he's fixed it on his. That makes no sense. Let's see. Oh, it's check. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, check. Yeah, okay, Gonz. That is the echo is getting recorded on your track. So it's definitely you sending me back through Skype. Okay, getting close. We're getting close. Something is set to get piped back into Skype. Well, this is fun. I'm glad this happened in the pre-show and not the actual show. This would be check 1, check 2, check 1, check 2. Oh, still getting it. Okay. We might be good. We might be good. Check, check, check. We may have solved the problem here, folks. Give us 1 second. I don't even know if I'm live right now, but just gonna up. We've got good news. We've got good news from Gons. I don't even know if my voice is going out on broadcast, but Gons is making happy noises. Happy Gons noises, which is always a good sign. Okay. All right. We think we got it. Am I live, Gons? What's going on here? Okay. If you guys can hear me, that would be great. If you could say so in the chat real quick, just as a check. Just as a double check. Steven put a cheers emoji. I'm not totally sure if that's in regard to me. Paper sword, paper sword. Okay, there we go. We did it, folks. We fixed the problem. All right, we're going to get the show started here. I think we're going to be starting out with a pre-show prayer.
Bow your head, if you will. Dear Heavenly Father, every Friday is a good Friday when you're present in our lives. We invite you to have your way in everything around us, in our lives, to your pleasure, for your will, not ours, to be done. Close what doors you want to, open what doors you will. And thank you for all that you do. In the name of the sinless blood. Amen.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is August 25th, 2023, and we are live to tape on episode 659. And today, Mugshot Warfare. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you're not crazy.
I think I am crazy. That didn't help me. And my name is Gons, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Okay, take my tech hat off, put on the show hat. Today's immersion phenomena. Patch designs.
Patch designs. You didn't go with 5th generation warfare, huh?
Well, I thought we would talk about it so much, but yes, it's all wrapped in 5th generation warfare. It'll all make sense, but yeah, what brought me to that view, and you put a word or a phrase to it. We're both kind of seeing the same thing on different, I don't know, perches or something, which is interesting. But yeah, I saw the patch designs as a sort of interesting pattern in today's show. And it's all about, 5th generation warfare, PSYOP, and all that kind of stuff.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's been a crazy couple days. Can't wait to get into it. But before we do, Gons, because we are broadcasting on YouTube and other places that are not huge fans of free speech or whatever, we might as well hit that, the thing. The thing.
Disclaimer.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Oh, so loud.
YouTube. That's right, and just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
That's right. Let me give you a rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
That's right. We're starting out with the most important thing that has ever happened in the history of human civilization. That is Donald Trump's mugshot. Dun, dun, dun. You've seen it. Maybe you love it. Maybe you hate it. But as far as the mainstream media is concerned, it is literally the most important thing to happen, maybe ever. So we'll be exploring the mainstream media response to the mugshot, which gets way deeper than you ever thought it possibly could. And then a quick roundup about the first GOP debates, of course, Vivek, Christie, these types of things. We'll be just doing a quick little check-in with that. Then, of course, Flippy becoming an extension of our own bodies in sort of a fun way. But then we'll be talking more fifth-gen warfare, baby, starting out with drones. Drones. Well, the thing with fifth-gen warfare is it's not just about nation states. It's about non-state actors. We've got a cartel who has an entire drone platoon on its side. Of course, we've got U.S. Space Force putting their getting their act together. We've got some cool laser soldiers that the Space Force has been reporting on. And then at the end of the show, just a quick reminder that the COVID thing is not over, and in fact we better start buckling in because we might have a round two. But first, Gons, our lead stories.
We will launch a new age. I am innocent. They're coming after me. They love killing.
It should surprise no one that Donald Trump's surrender at Georgia's Fulton County Jail on Thursday was choreographed to coincide precisely with prime time. The former president once again proved his media savvy, this time leveraging what people capable of shame would consider an ignominious moment into a perverse grab for the spotlight. Dinnertime news viewers were primed for a sickening spectacle wherein pomp and circumstance had devolved into rock. Once the image was released shortly after Trump's exit from the jail, it seemed to be mostly of a piece with those of Trump's rogues gallery of co-defendants. But now, badly lit, the harsh flatness of a drugstore passport snapshot, dressed in a blue suit with his usual red tie and posed against a gray backdrop, a sullen Trump went with the scowl, glaring up at the camera with beetle-browed fury in a weird mashup of the 0.5 selfie aesthetic and wanted, dead or alive, classism. In the upper left-hand corner, the Fulton County Sheriff's watermark provided the only authorial signature on an otherwise featureless piece of dispiriting iconography. Devoid compositional flair, the photograph was nonetheless gone viral, exerting its own formal power as a historic artifact. Trump has become the first U.S. president with a mugshot that isn't photoshopped, and as a symbol of Trumpism, at either its most bravely defiant or its most venal and violent. Almost done. Trump's arrest photo now joins a dubious lineage that connects the likes of Al Capone, John Dillinger, Lee Harvey Oswald, and Charles Manson. Ooh. Hugh Grant, Lindsay Lohan, Luan de Lesseps, and O.J. Simpson.
Oh.
O.J. Simpson. First former U.S. president to be arrested in the case on charges that he had 18 others conspired to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Trump has now expanded the queasy matrix of celebrity and criminality to include his own brand of petty, performative, reflexively pugilistic politics. The man who ran against Hillary Clinton, leading chance of lock her up, is now the presidential candidate with 4 indictments to his name, etc., 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 wrote the Washington Post. Big deal, Gons. Really big deal. Most important thing in the world. And what I loved about the Washington Post's telling of this story is it's truly written in a sort of mythological style. I not jumped around, but I didn't read word for word the whole thing, just the most fun and exciting bits. But in a way, the Washington Post and I agree on this. Especially because he'd been arrested before. He turned himself in before. Mm-hmm. No mugshot was needed. No mugshot was taken.
Yeah, why now? Why number 4?
Why now?
Well, in Asian cultures, 4 is the number of death. They don't put it on houses and stuff. So maybe number 4, the mugshot. There's some numerology going on somewhere.
It is truly maybe the most effective, like the article said, historic artifact of narrative crafting or shibboleth sort of symbology. The alerting of one's side and on a matter based on reaction or using a certain word. It does end like this: whether people see him as a criminal deviant or canny disruptor, Trump's mugshot might be the one image both constituencies can rally around, albeit for wildly different reasons. The Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery hasn't hung Trump's official portrait, but the mugshot has almost made that installation an afterthought. With a digital click from a sheriff's photographer, Trump's most lasting and accurate image has now been permanently engraved in all its dull, bureaucratic non-glory, which is probably as it should be. Love Trump as someone who has taken American-style swagger, arrogance, and impunity to brazen new extremes, or hate Trump as a one-man stress test of the country's increasingly fragile norms, institutions, and the Constitution itself. His mugshot will forever be the likeness that best holds those competing realities in uneasy balance.
Oh my gosh, it is a relic in their whole paradigm. It just was placed in their lap and they don't know what to do with it. They're like, oh my goodness, this thing is humongous.
It really is a sort of a magical talisman that has been sort of broadcast across the entire population. And as they point out, it doesn't matter who you are. This mugshot means something to you. It might mean something different than somebody else, but it means something, which makes it a very powerful sort of tool to be wielded. And the timing is not something to be sort of disregarded. I mean, the past few days have been crazy in so many different ways. And a Trump mugshot was sort of the best possible thing to distract from other stuff going on. The article ends here with unlovely and drably utilitarian. The image conveys with blunt eloquence a singularly dismal chapter in American political history. The mugshot turns out to be its own kind of indictment.
What do you mean own? Is that a metaphor? Is this a metaphor as a weapon? Just looping itself in?
Exactly. It's the metaphor as a weapon. How reliably on brand that Trump's presidential portrait would find its highest expression in the visual language of public enemy number 1. Wow. And that is the mugshot. And indeed, I mean, I've seen it on both sides. This article comparing, the fact that he has a mugshot, putting him in the same club as Charles Manson, trying to make those comparisons. And on the other side, you have the comparison of, who else has a mugshot? Martin Luther King Jr. has a mugshot.
Right.
All these. So it's kind of a difference between, do you compare Trump's mugshot to those of serial killers and criminals, or do you compare Trump's mugshot to, folk heroes and civil servants and people to be admired. It's or just cool people. It's an extremely powerful moment in the sort of iconography, the symbology, the sort of occult sort of spell cast upon the whole country, the whole population. Of course, having perhaps different or inspiring different feelings, but overall casting the same spell. And we might not know exactly what that is until it's too late.
Well, you can see we talk about divide and conquer all the time. You can see sort of why one side, and it's starting with the mainstream media and the progressivism, leftist, all that, why they went so big, so hard, was to create the opposition, which Trump embraced, obviously, 2016. And now it's sort of a full-on divide and conquer with two sides. You can't make Trump into some kind of messianic figure without somebody calling him or, making him a martyr.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we've seen the media do. And it's sort of we're now entering the era where the majority of the public seem to be agreeing with Trump, or at least skeptical of the mainstream.
His support just keeps going up. Every time something like this happens, his support just keeps going up. Right. It's almost like purposeful.
Yeah.
I just to mention, I love how the mainstream across the board is like, he's using this to get views and clicks. I can't believe he posted his own mugshot. What an idiot, posting his own mugshot, so scandalous, so manipulative. Look at him playing these games. And what they're really saying is, we want to be the only ones showing his mugshot. Wow. We want to show the mugshot to act like we're good journalists and like we found something you haven't seen before. Well, they're jealous of what it is.
Well, it shows where we are in the digital medium, how people get their information, how news breaks. I am certain that Trump's party, even Elon, might have been in the know about when Trump was going to post again on Twitter or X. Interesting that it's now X, the first tweet, whatever we're calling it now, since the change, and it's his mugshot, and it's literally that with a Donald. It's all he said was DonaldJTrump.com. Yeah, fundraising, and I'm sure he made a killing. And Elon Musk retweeting next level. And I'm looking at it going, what next level? What, like next level criminal, next level unleashing chaos?
The timing
next
is
level,
perfect.
Like marketing, like next level,
magnificent,
what, like all of it, I guess.
Magnificent display of media savvy by the president, and sort of not even like sneaky media savvy. It's just so impressive. Both the mugshot, but also it being his first tweet since January 8th of 2021.
72.8 million views since this posted. And, the 8/24 is interesting as well. The date, a lot of people in sports would know that as Kobe Bryant Day, 8 and 24. He wore the jersey number 8 for the first half of his career, then 24 the second half. And we all know what happened to him, and there's lots of conspiracy theories about why that might have happened. But 8/24, traditionally a celebratory day of that, or of him, of his life, which I don't know if that means anything, but just thought interesting that this story would break on that day when, sports fans are kind of reflecting on Kobe, and all of a sudden Trump's mugshot is on everybody's computer screens just to sort of show the takeover of the MAGA, I suppose.
It is sort of the equivalent of a 5th generation warfare nuclear bomb going off.
Oh, yeah.
The most powerful sort of psychological operation that possibly could have been unleashed. The timing is incredible. Right after his Tucker interview, he's still riding the wave of attention that the Tucker interview provided. Of course, the GOP debates, which even though Trump wasn't there, they were all about Trump. We'll take a look at some moments from that in a second. But also, just in time to take attention away from a bunch of stories about how COVID lockdowns might be starting again, and how mask mandates might be coming back, and how the new COVID variant might be causing trouble this winter. The exact same time where people like us and like others who are paying attention to those sorts of things might miss some of the breaking stories about COVID, might miss a couple of those stories breaking about Russia and Ukraine, might miss some of the big sort of tectonic movements going on in the world right now. But before we get into all that, there was some very, oh my gosh, valiant efforts and sort of, I don't know, crash and burns that were more exciting than Prigozhin's plane going down, with the mainstream media trying to come out and have something important to say about the headshot. You got some clips?
We're going to start with Jake Tapper over at CNN, and he's recently kind of had like a 180 on Trump. Didn't he say, wasn't it him that said the words Trump was right? And everybody,
Jake Tapper was the one who said Trump was right.
Yeah. Okay. So here he is reporting on the mugshot.
Sad image. There it is on the left side of your screen. Fulton County Jail inmate number P01135809, otherwise known as 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump. We see on the right side of the screen his Boeing 757 about to take off from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, on its way back to Newark, New Jersey. Dan Abash, no doubt the Trump campaign and his supporters will try to make sport and make light of the image on the left side of your screen. But the truth is, the allegations and the conduct described in the indictment, whether or not he is found guilty, whether or not you think it is a strong case, the allegations and the conduct are factually accurate. And
whether or not
tragic.
He is found guilty.
Yeah. You missed the part where he paused and then ended with it's tragic. But
I'm sorry,
I
stepped on it.
But no, it's
will
all
you
right.
play it again? I want to experience it.
Okay.
Rewind, everybody.
I'll go back just a little bit here.
Out of your screen, but the truth is, the allegations and the conduct described in the indictment, whether or not he is found guilty, whether or not you think it is a strong case, the allegations and the conduct are factually accurate and tragic.
Tragic. What in the world is Jake Tapper talking about? Whether or not he's found guilty, whether or not the facts are accurate, this is tragic, he says. What a strange response by Jake Tapper. Yeah. Is he a secret Trump lover? Is that what this is?
It's starting to sound like it. It's almost like he's after so much. Maybe he's the bully that he comes to terms. He has bad feelings about the whipping that he's done, and he's coming around because he's so sad.
Jake,
he's like so depressed. It's kind of like, whoa, Jake, cheer up, buddy. It's all right. It's gonna be okay.
If you need to talk, man, if you need somebody to talk to, give me a call. Man, we can get through this. We'll get through this together, through this tragic moment. He's literally, this is not the first time Trump has even turned himself in. It's the fourth indictment.
Fourth time, but we got the mugshot. Just
I mean, that's the funny part. Literally what he's responding to is the fact that a mugshot exists is the tragic part.
That's interesting in terms of just, we're talking about fifth gen warfare, the psychological warfare, the images that control the narrative, the images that control what we think about what's going on and what's happening. Yeah. It's wild, man. It's wild to think that he's already done all that stuff 3 times, but because there's no images, really, the only people getting mad are, really hardcore followers of what's going on or whatever. But then you get a picture and boom, it just explodes and everybody is talking about it. Yeah, it shows the power of images, and
it's an actual sort of magical artifact. It's much more than just a picture. It's a magical artifact that will, sort of have effects outside of the facts themselves. Because the facts are he's been indicted before, he's been arrested before. Nothing is new. It's just the existence of the mugshot is sort of this sort of world shifting moment. Now, I laughed so hard when I saw this next clip. This is from CNN talking. They brought an expert analyst to come on and answer a question about the mugshot. And I just can't wait to share it with everybody.
How do you think this latest arrest and mugshot in particular, and the fingerprinting, and all of what he went through today, how do you think that's actually sitting with him tonight?
I don't think especially well, Jake. From what I heard from people who had spoken to him, he actually seemed less agitated heading into today than he had the previous 3 indictments, which is still a remarkable sentence to say. But he doesn't want to be mugshotted. He doesn't want to be arrested. He doesn't want to have what in his mind is the indignity of going to this jail and then, submitting to a photo and a mugshot and fingerprinting. And to your point about the visuals of him, it isn't just that he wants to look menacing, which is certainly true, and he has made that kind of face in photos for years and years and years. He doesn't want to look weak, and that's what that's about. And so, circulating the mugshot, fundraising off of it, owning it, using it for press, that's all part of a playbook that we have seen him use over and over again, but that does not mean he's enjoying any of this. This is a serious thing. He is facing serious jail time.
Expert professional analysis on CNN. Trump doesn't like going to jail. In his mind, I love in his mind, it's an indignity to go turn yourself into the Fulton County Jail and get fingerprinted, get mugshotted. Yeah, because the rest of us consider it a dignity. This twisted monster of a Trump man thinks it's undignified to get arrested. Oh, he's not very happy. And that right there. So it continues to build the case that I think they know that this is bad for them. The mugshot is good for Trump. They would not have taken a mugshot without Trump allowing them to take a mugshot. He skipped it the first time. He very easily could have skipped it this time. He didn't. And they are trying their hardest to spin it in a way that is, trying to say that, yeah, Trump is sad about this. He tweeted out his own mugshot, so out of like a defense mechanism. He's not like a political genius who figured out how to turn this to his favor in sort of a remarkable way. No, he's very sad. He feels undignified. I don't think he's very happy about it at all. This is the sort of expert, professional, sort of psychological warfare being perpetrated on the people by CNN. It really is. We're living in a clown, bizarro, nonsense world, and it's getting more fun. At least it's getting a little more fun.
We've talked about the network state and those ideas that are out there. And we are moving so quickly into a cybernetic society where the traditional forms of institutions and infrastructure matter less. Things that happen digitally matter more. This is a great example where stuff's happening in real life, but just the way the narrative gets carried and the promotion happens and the marketing and the politics, and it's all happening digitally online through these platforms and all that. And right now, I feel like with the Trump move and everything, if Trump is to become president again, unless something crazy happens, most people think that that's what's going to go down. We'll probably see a continued sort of conservative winning streak or something for a few years, perhaps. Maybe 2027 is when things start to change again. Wheels start falling off that whole wagon. But there is a time. It does feel like the reason why Trump is so popular and the reason why everyone is so behind him is because he appeals to the idea of a sovereign, like a sovereign individual.
Yeah.
Right. So
right.
People like us, even that we consider ourselves sovereign individuals, both as a sort of spiritual thing biblically, but also just in general, as a member of society,
politically, cognitively.
Mm-hmm. And we talked to Dr. Hugo de Garis about 10 years ago about his idea of the art-elect war and how the factions in that time will be different, that you'll have your Terrans, which I consider kind of like your sovereigns, people that are sort of like, no, we're made in the image of God. Our bodies are temples, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're not a piece of the network.
Right.
You're not a cog in the machine.
Right. We'll jump in. We'll go online and stuff like that. But we're not going to cross that line. Whereas the cyborgists and the cosmists are the ones that are like, oh, we're building gods, and we're and now all these ideas are becoming more clear how it's separating society. The wealthy people are thinking about all this stuff because they're wealthy. They have nothing else to worry about other than like big social things and stuff. And so they get trapped into this whole transhumanist ideology. And I think we'll start seeing this way more. I think Trump is sort of the guy carrying us into the cybernetic society, for better or worse, Basil.
Yeah, it's the network state sort of idea, which is all part of fifth generation warfare.
Yep.
Now, part of what's going on in the world, of course, another, just interesting event was the first GOP debates that happened, of course, without Trump there. Trump did his Tucker interview. And I'm telling you, man, this Vivek guy is some sort of prodigy student of politicians. I'm not going to say he's some sort of masterful politician, but he is a good student of politicians, and which on one hand has garnered himself a lot of attention, an extraordinary amount of attention. And of course, with that comes an extraordinary amount of skepticism and nitpicking. But you had a few clips from the GOP debate, did you not?
I do.
It's Latin for many. Tick. They'll suck your blood. Politics. Your blood.
So this first moment I want to highlight is you got your candidates up there. The question is posed, if Trump wins the primaries and is the Republican representative for the election, would you support him? It's more of a visual thing. We'll describe what happened here. Here's how it sounded.
If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
Okay, so for those of you just listening, you have the stage there. I think their podium positions were based on how popular they were or something like that. There's some I read somewhere that there's some correlation there.
You've got Desantis, who's currently in number 2, in the middle on the left-hand side.
Right, there's 8 people up on stage.
Yeah, and you've got Vivek, who's number 3. He's in the middle on the right-hand side, and then the others sort of fan out from there. But yeah, Vivek and Desantis right there in the center.
Right, and when the question was posed, Vivek was just right on it. His hand went right up, big smile on his face, and that prompted people to his left, stage left, Nikki Haley, and I can't remember all their names now, but yeah, they all raised their hands, and then DeSantis kind of
in sort of a cascading fashion.
They did the wave
because I think it's important, to kind of point this out for when we get to DeSantis, because Vivek is immediately up. I mean, that's his entire platform is, I support Trump no matter what. He's the best president. And, the idea is Trump won't be able to run for some reason. So I'll be here. I'll be a Trump proxy.
Right.
If you love Trump, you love me. And we'll see what happens on Election Day. And so he immediately, with confidence, his hand just flies up. And then it kind of moves from there. You got different people thinking at different speeds. And they don't really start joining until the crowd starts going wild. They see that the crowd goes berserk for Vivek holding his hand up, and they see, oh, okay, this is a good thing to do. And Nikki Haley raises her hand. Then the two people next to Nikki Haley go up one after the other. And the real sad part that everybody's sort of pointing out is DeSantis's reaction.
Which, yes. So DeSantis, some people zoomed in, just DeSantis and Vivek, and the side-by-side, it's a little grainy, but it's great because you got, it looks even more dramatic because the time between Vivek's hand going up and DeSantis's hand going up, there's a few seconds, or not a few seconds, maybe like a second there because
it feels like an hour.
Right. But the thing that's really, I think, bad for DeSantis is he looks around
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did I
He's
lose it?
waiting. He's looking around.
Yeah, he kind of does a shifty. He looks around. He sees sort of everybody to his left have his hand up. So he kind of then, oh, yeah, me too.
He hears the cheers. He sees the other people raising their hand. He obviously wasn't going to raise his hand. And he makes just the most pitiful, honestly, it's
so
pitiful. It's like a half hand raise. He doesn't even raise his hand all the way. It goes up halfway. It's very meek. It's very beta is what it is.
Right. It's not taking charge. It's kind of like, I guess I'll do it too. Yeah.
It got like peer pressured into it, which is sort of one of the biggest complaints about DeSantis is that, he's too politician-y. He's just doing what a politician does. He's making decisions based on, how it will be perceived instead of, having principles and standing up for his principles. Really a bad look.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the sentiment I saw was, man, I'm really disappointed in DeSantis. I was really hoping for more from him.
Yeah.
Because he got completely outshined by Vivek. For having moments, for having these crazy moments.
Guy, he knows what he's doing. I'm not saying that I think he'd be a good president. I'm saying as a performer in the theater of American political elections, he's a star.
Here's his moment.
Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to declare independence for it. And the reality is, the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is, more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you bought and paid for?
Down by 98% in the last century.
Listen.
There you go.
Listen to that nonsense. And now there was a lot of talking about what are they booing about? What exactly is everybody booing about? And some people were saying that the boos were the fact that he was calling the climate change agenda a hoax, trying to signal that, hey, this is the donor class who shows up to these things. They're kind of on the climate change thing. They're all going to make money from climate change agenda stuff. And they were booing Vivek for being down on climate change or whatever. But the fact that they cheered after he finished, I think they're all booing at, who was that? Pence and DeSantis.
Whoever's on the far left, I forget.
Far left is Pence.
Pence is not far left. Pence is like left of DeSantis, I thought. Let me double check it again.
Well, are you talking stage left or left while you're looking at the video?
Looking
Pence
at the video.
Is all the way to the left on the video.
Oh, on the video, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, to the left. Anyways, so I think they were booing the really pitiful attempts at being like, oh, whoa, you can't say we're bought and paid for. Whoa, hey, are you going to allow this? You're going to allow this guy to say that we take corporate money for political favors and blah, blah, blah. And I think it remains to be seen exactly. We may never know why exactly people were cheering and booing when they did. They could have just all been robots. Who knows? But again, I think in the end, Vivek was the only person on that stage to stand sort of firm in these, what some might consider sort of fringe right things. I mean, it's maybe anti-establishment right stances. And again, he's just playing the game very well.
Yeah. It's the moments afterwards that also caught everyone's attention. This is the 50 seconds after the Vivek quote. So you'll hear the end of the Vivek quote about the climate hoax, and then it goes into. I wanted to show what Christie did to demand attention and control of the conversation here, or at least try.
People are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you bought and paid for?
Is down by 98%
Hold on.
in the last century.
Listen.
I've had it. No,
Wait, hold on.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here The last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Come over and give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
the same type of amateur.
Hold on.
People are dying of bad climate.
Okay.
What do you think? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some people are trying to say that like Christie was just like such a warrior here, and yelled his way. He yelled his way into attention and slammed Vivek, saying he sounds like ChatGPT, which I'm not even 100% sure I know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, but he was just picking up on popular language of the year.
Yeah, very mixed reactions, though. Very mixed. You had some laughs, you had some, cheers, but you also had a lot of boos to that comment.
Yeah, it really does show the kayfabe or the kayfabe.
Yeah, I think that's the lesson to learn from this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about the kayfabe of American politics for a long time, and if you're unfamiliar, kayfabe is sort of a professional wrestling term that has to do with purposefully buying in to a fake scenario just for basically the sake of entertainment. It's you sort of LARP yourself into thinking that something is real or real enough to cope with the fact that it's happening, basically.
Justify a fight, which I think eventually with all this Elon and Zuckerberg, I actually think, the only thing we don't have with all these Republican debates, just politics in general and just culturally in general, is all these people literally getting in a ring and fighting over something. So, if you want to be a CEO of a company or something like that, you got a couple candidates instead of some kind of job prospect thing with the boss or the owner or something.
Trial by combat, baby.
Yeah, just throw them in the ring, and that the society would really, evolve with the powerful or something if that was really the case, and corruption wouldn't be able to. I guess corruption can still enter the equation.
Corruption will still be there. In
fact,
of course, it might even be worse.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, there's different kinds of corruption, I suppose. But, I don't know. The takeaway has to be that this is all part of the show, and Vivek is very good at what he does. Christie took his opportunities. I don't know anybody who supports Christie. Do you know anybody who's like a big Christie guy?
No, and in fact, there was a couple moments where Vivek totally destroyed Christie during the debates. We don't have clips of him now, but did not turn out very well for him.
Yeah.
But I think it just goes, again, I think the real thing to watch about this is the Vivek thing. I think the narrative, the storyline of Vivek getting in the race, I think it's an effective backup to Trump. That's kind of his whole thing. He's not saying I'm better than Trump. He's saying I'm the backup. If Trump can't run, go with me. And I don't know. I've never been good at telling the future when it comes to these sorts of things. It's still very early in the whole process. He could just be sort of the entertainment candidate before, the real candidate. Because that's what Trump was. I mean, Trump was an entertainment candidate in 2016.
Your eyeballs, yep.
It was funny. He was funny. It was funny that he was running. Like, nobody really took him seriously at first. They just liked the idea that the funny apprentice man is running. And he gained sort of attention just for being entertaining, and that turned into what we know now. And Vivek is following that display almost to the T.
If this was a movie, then Vivek is gaining the credibility to run in place of Trump should something happen to him, like not get arrested or go to jail or something like that, which I know is part of the conversation here, but something a little more violent,
Yeah, well, even Tucker asked him if Trump was worried that he was going to get killed. But, who knows? Okay, with that, Guns, I think it's time we move on. And I need to remind you that it is Friday.
It's Friday.
There you go. Keep playing with the Friday thing.
You're going to learn today.
Because it's Friday. You ain't got no job.
And you ain't got Are you not entertained?
It's Friday. It's Friday.
That's right. It is Friday, folks. We made it to the end of the week. Congratulations to everyone. And if you work the weekend shift, strength be with you. I was going to just jump in and thank some producers unless you had a fun story for us or something, Guns.
I'll just tell the story momentarily. Last night, I had a little bit of an existential moment. I was making some chicken sandwiches, and I was trying to make actually chicken sliders. And
Wow.
I had the loaf of Hawaiian bread. And, you know, I did that thing where I cut it down the middle, right? You cut it, you cut the whole thing down the middle so you can make like a bed of the lower buns, and then you can put all the stuff in there and put it in the oven. Well, I was trying to just brown it a little bit, had it in the broiler there, forgot about it, pulled it out, super crispy. And
oh no,
I brought it outside and everything. And I was like, with everything going on with Hawaii right now, with Maui, the fact that I burned a loaf
Gonzo
of Hawaiian bread, I felt so bad. I was
Gonzo.
seriously
It was you.
distraught.
You
I did it. I did it. Yes.
did
In
it.
retrospect, you know, the time traveling thing works a little funky, but
yeah,
I guess I'm just you can just blame me. I'm the arson from the future that caused the whole.
Well, and if anybody thinks that's in poor taste, blame Trump. Trump's the one who did it. Okay, well, here's the thing, folks. We are on the value for value model. Ever heard of it? That's what we do. We don't go. Let's thank some executive producers.
Executive producers.
Yeah, we're on the value for value model, which means we take no corporate money, no cartel money, no commie money, no nothing. There is no third party involved between, in between us and you, dear listener. It is nobody's responsibility for the continuing of this show except for the people who get value from it. It's the value for value model. If you get value, you have the opportunity to put value back in, and it's the only way that we'll be able to continue in the way that we have, and the only way we'll be able to continue into the future, because having corporations or cartels or whatever decide if something is valuable enough to exist has got us in the situation that we're in. So now it's all about the people. If you get value, put some value back in, and we can continue indefinitely. And we don't have to worry about what we say, about the stories we cover, the jokes we make, the theories that we explore. If we were getting money for advertising, getting paid to brainwash you into buying things you don't need with money you don't have, which is a very popular way of keeping podcasts going. But if we were doing that, we'd be basically have our hands tied on so much of what we talk about. So when you thank these producers, just remember, these are the people who are keeping the show alive for you. And executive producers, they're the ones who come in, they produce the show. Oh, by the way, you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. It's not all about money. There's lots of ways to get involved. But the executive producers, they come in, they produce the show for $100 or more for any individual episode. And we like to thank them here at the top. So we're going to do that. You ready, Guns?
Ready.
All right, everybody stand up, give a rousing round of applause for executive producer Jacob B.
Jacob B, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jacob B. And Jacob B comes in with a nice round number, which means we won't disclose it on the show. If you don't mind us disclosing your number on the show, make some funky, make it, send a message, put 77 cents or 33 cents or 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like that. That tells us that we're allowed to say it. But Jacob B has a note here. He says, Basil, one ill turn does not deserve another. If there is a way to make this phrase fit the Burning Man situation, then maybe this will help. The report is only half the equation. The other half is you being there on location planting gospel seeds. Well, that was very nice. I found that very encouraging, executive producer Jacob B. Thank you very much for that note.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yes, it is still a battle. I am fighting internally about my feelings and my regrets and my my heartbreak about how the Burning Man research went last year, where I lost everything that I had spent all week getting. I don't have any details to add about this year, but I will soon if the situation requires that. But thank you very much for the encouragement and for the executive producership, Jacob B.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Jacob B.
Next up, we've got executive producer Pavel A.
Pavel.
Yeah, Pavel. Yeah, Pavel has produced before. Thank you very much, Pavel. Comes in with a nice round number and a note here that says, "We need to send Basil to Antarctica. It's time to get some boots on the ice."
Yes.
Now, if they only did Burning Man there's a chance someday, far into the not so distant future, that Burning Man will be held in Antarctica, because
they will be responsible for 68% of the melted ice that year.
Yes, that's right. All those RVs, fire dancers. You get
that would be the contamination of the woke white desert.
Yeah, you get 10,000 fire dancers, woke white fire dancers down in Antarctica. We'll show you some global warming. Thank you very much, Pavel A. Next up, we got...
Sorry, had to give it.
No worries. No, I should have waited. Next up, we got executive producer Kevin M.
Kevin M.
Yeah. Hey. Kevin M. Thank you very much. He's back, folks. The illustrious and elusive executive producer Kevin M. comes in for $133. Appreciate it.
Hey.
No.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And last but not least, we have executive producer Dame Maureen, Lady of the Appalachian Hills, House of the Fountain of Living Water.
Hey.
Yeah, Dame Maureen, thank you very much. Executive producer Dame Maureen comes in with a nice round number. And a note here that says, "Basil and Gons, keep up the good fight against the lizard people in this age of deceit. Even so, come Lord Jesus. God bless you and all the awesome Canarians, Dame Maureen."
Hey, thank you very much.
Very nice, very sweet. Thank you very much.
Maureen.
Where'd you find this?
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to thank the rest of the financial producers today, because it's an extremely short list. Thank God for these executive producers. They, of course, hold a very special place in all of our hearts, and they saved us today, because as far as regular producership goes, we have Doris E., producer Doris E. coming in.
Doris, thank you very much.
Yeah, Doris E. comes in with 1111.
Hey, 1111. That's... I haven't heard that one in a while. Thank you, Doris.
Yeah, thank you very much, producer Doris. I don't remember. I don't recall Doris before. It might be a D. Muchin, but if it is, you just let us know, Doris. We will play the jingle for you next episode. And I think that's it. For for the regular producers. That concludes the list of producers who came in over $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read in the show. We got our streakers. They came in under the 777 mark, and we'll thank them real quick. Starting, who did come in was producer Malik W.
Hey. Under 777 or above?
Under 777.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
There's a discount day for Malik. Thank you very much. Malik W. came in. He's on a 11 episode streak.
11 episodes.
Almost that 12.
We'll be walking on the sun next time. Yep.
That's right. Thank you very much, producer Malik. Of course, we have Veronica D. 298 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D. I guess we're playing yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 325 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
And you got a jingle for this one. I'll give you 3 seconds to find it, because we have Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 337 episodes in one straight row.
I'm looking for it. I cannot find it.
Wasn't enough, was it?
It wasn't.
Wasn't enough, was it?
Oh, no.
Well, sir, here's the thing, folks.
Hold on. Maybe it's in this tab.
If you don't know, Sir Casey the Shield Knight has the longest running streak of producerships. He comes in under the 777 mark every single episode. Very impressive. 337 episodes in a row, I believe, is a little over half of all episodes that have ever been created.
Yeah, it's more than half for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's Sir Casey.
Sir Casey is unite.
There we go. There it is. So he's been producing so long, he got his own jingle for it, which Gons is now going to put front and center on his soundboard so we never miss it again. Next up, we got Dame Gail, Canary Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's. 296 episodes in a row.
Yep, thank you.
And we got Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots, 269 episodes in a row.
Thank you very much, Sir Morv.
Okay, that concludes our list of financial producers. Thank you all so much for keeping this show alive. It's the only way that it happens. We'll be thanking producers who come in with their time and talent a little later on. Just want to plug a few things. Remember to go to canarycrymeetups.com. Then there's some meetups coming up in September. So go see if there's a meetup near you. If it's not near you, put one on yourself. Super easy, canarycrymeetups.com. We'll see you at the meetup.
Mm-hmm.
We will. And if you hadn't noticed yet, you might notice later. Gons does have kids today. No, babysitter was figured out yet, but we are still asking for people to join the Canary Cry Babysitters Club. You can go to canarycrybabysittersclub.com. You'll start receiving the supply drop for committing to helping us with 1 hour of babysitting a month. It's a great deal. canarycrybabysittersclub.com. Oh, yeah, we do have a jingle for that, don't we? I forgot about that.
Canary Cry Babysitters Club? Yeah.
Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
Oh, yeah. We have a couple Babysitters Club jingles, and this is one of them, and I'm supposed to talk and explain it over this bed of music. So here you go. I've already explained it, and go do it. canarycrybabysittersclub.com. All right. Let's get the show going, huh?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Oh,
that's right. Time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We used talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world. And now there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from USA Today, and it's more of a video. There's not a whole lot of material on this sucker. USA Today apparently just posts 11-second clips with no explanation. But the headline here is Robot Fanatic shows off a 10-foot robot exoskeleton that imitates human movement. A 10-foot robot exoskeleton running on kinetic energy can imitate human movement. Now, for those who are watching the video, y'all might have seen a video or video like this before, where, there's a man who is in a sort of robot suit that extends past the limits of his body. He's on stilts. It goes about 3 feet above his head. His arms control the robot arms that are enormous, and it's fun to watch. I mean, it's very cool looking. We've seen stuff like this before, and it never ceases to look very cool. In fact, one of the exoskeleton type robots that I'm enthusiastic about, which is from a robot company called Prosthesis Robotics, which is funny because they don't make prosthetics. It's a giant gorilla racing robot that you kind of climb into and control from the inside. I actually saw that thing at Burning Man. It was at Burning Man last year. They had it parked and were like letting people climb on it and stuff. It was very cool. I think I sent a picture out on the thing, but it's email, sorry. But this is Flippy Update. In the Flippy Update, we explore what this means, what the message is. And there's two things that stuck out to me and kind of triggered my Flippy senses. Number one is they claim this guy's a robot fanatic. This is not, a robot corporation. This is not a robot company trying to commercialize something. This is not, at least it is not reported that way. It is reported as a robot fanatic, just a guy who built a thing. And it's this personalization of robotics, of like the improvement upon robot technology being brought about by fans instead of corporations, that has a pretty strong effect on the social engineering of, hey, we're not letting these robots into our lives just because they're a product and they're commodified and a company wants to make our lives easier and take our money. That's kind of played, and it can only go so far when it comes to accepting robots into your life. What you really need is to see somebody who's doing it for the love of the game. You're a sports ball man, Gons. You know how it is. There's a difference when you see a player or a game or something where, oh, that guy's getting millions of dollars and he's making money. He plays good basketball because he's making money. That's one thing. But there's the love of the game players, that those are the ones. They're living the dream. They're expressing themselves. They're improving the status quo just because they can, that type of thing. And it has a much more powerful message, does it not?
Yeah, I recently heard, and I don't know the exact numbers, I forget, but it's not really that important, that some NBA player podcast, because they're all podcasting now. All the NBA players are podcasting.
Of course.
And they were saying that about 60 to 70%, maybe higher, of people that play in the NBA don't love basketball. So there's only like a very few number of people that love basketball and are there. Most of them are like, oh, you're tall. Oh, you're pretty good. And they just kind of get dragged on. And it's, hey, look, you're making millions of dollars. I don't think a lot of people are complaining, but just in terms of, hey, do you actually love the sport, love the game, like the fans? Looks, according to some players, it's very few. So yeah, I think you're right. There's an appeal with those types of people. Yeah.
And it also makes it, when there's somebody's doing it for the love of the game, they don't have like the resources of a big corporation behind them.
Right.
It makes it attainable. It makes it feel attainable. There's more emotional impact to it. It's a very powerful thing when it comes, if your goal is to make the public accept robots into their life. The other part about this that triggered me was the kinetic energy part.
Yeah.
Now, of course, most people know robots are running on electricity for the most part. It's an electrical thing. Where's the energy coming from? It's coming from electricity. Kinetic energy means that the energy powering the robot is coming from the human.
The human.
Guy.
Yes.
Right?
We are just mere motors for the robots. Yeah.
So not only is this robot an extension of this man, quite literally an extension of the man, but it is also the man that is powering the robot. Now, of course, this could mean that, it's maybe the robot doesn't have like a ton more power, or say, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the practicalities of that means, but the emotional message, the philosophical message, the whole, psychological operation going on here is this guy is inside this robot because he loves it. The robot is improving the human by extending the human's capabilities. The human is extending the capabilities of the robot by being the power source of the robot. And there's a symbiosis. And not for commercial gain, but for the love of the game. And I think we're going to start, there's always attention being given to like YouTubers who build a robot or something like that. We saw the guy who built the Johnny 5 robot, and it was a very emotional story. And we have, again, this sort of theme that don't worry, this isn't Elon Musk trying to get a robot into your living room so he can spy on you and take your data and then whatever. This is people are doing it voluntarily, sacrificially, bringing to life the robots that are improving their lives, extending their abilities, and powering the robots themselves. I think it's a very powerful message, and will have a great effect on lots of people when it comes to the acceptance of robots, possibly even as people.
Yeah, and this is the avatar predictive programming thing too, where you're sort of in a body that is more, at least in this case, it's just bigger. But the part that struck out to me in the clip is he shows his dexterity by moving his arms, but then also wiggling each finger individually. And then he is handed a ball and he throws the ball. I can see a sports league of just this. That's how you would start the accessibility type of thing, where you have, a select group of people that get to access, and then it's gender neutral. It could be a guy or a girl.
It's very transhuman. You're extending past the powers of the human body.
Right.
However, the human body is still responsible for powering the machine.
Right.
But it's it's delivering a higher return on investment when it comes to interacting with this robot versus like a corporate one.
What they should do is have some fans get into these suits and play real NBA players at like an all-star game or something.
There you go. If I see the prosthesis robot again at Burning Man, I am meeting them. I am interviewing them
in it.
I am going to see if they will at least let me suit up and get inside the giant gorilla racing robot.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Excellent.
All right. There's your Flippy update for the day, folks.
Sounds fantastic. All right. We're going to talk about 5th generation warfare in a very specific manner. And it's all about warfare and data and mind control and all the things.
And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
They all want to share their data.
Yeah,
Armageddon's on the way.
Mind control weapons.
Quite the lineup.
Sorry, I had like 8 of them all lined up. They're ready to go for the thing.
Sorry, they're not on the notes. I didn't know they were coming. Just real quick, just because I'm like in the 5th generation warfare rabbit hole right now. I'm like right in the midst of it because I watched a documentary on it. I've been doing a bunch of reading, and it's very difficult to understand. And I think a lot of people, I mean, even the scholars who are sort of responsible for defining what 5th generation warfare is, are sort of contested about what exactly it is. And just to run people through, because we'll be talking about this a lot more, but 1st generation warfare, you're talking sticks and stones, tribes fighting. 2nd generation warfare is lining up a bunch of guys, like big armies meeting on a battlefield. Think Revolutionary War, think, Greece, ancient Greece, where you have 2 gigantic groups of people meeting in one place and they fight, and that decides the war type of thing. That's 2nd generation. I hope I'm getting these right off the top of my head. I should have made notes. 3rd generation is when weapons start coming. This is World War I, where the weapons of war require a change in how war is done. You've got long-range rifles, you've got artillery. This is when we go from, 2 armies lining up on a battlefield
to
it's
projectile.
This is the hard part about it. Defining these generations is not just about the method with which we kill, but it includes the method by which we kill. It's really
it seems
easy
like correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like documenting in progression is sort of the extremes and how technology assists in warfare to a certain extent.
Exactly. So it's a mix, right? So defining these generations is a mix between the technology available, the strategies that make sense,
right,
not just the strategies
context,
used, but the strategies that make sense in the context, the politics behind why the wars are being fought,
right,
and the perception of the war, of how the war is being fought. So 3rd generation, you're talking World War I, you're not lining up, you're in trenches. Right. It's very slow, it's very grueling, and you're still sort of doing nation states, for the most part, but it's a little bit more like coalitions. There's ideology starts getting involved. It's not just war between 2 nations. It's kind of a war of ideology starts to seep in. 4th generation is what's called insurgency warfare. This is kind of where we started in Vietnam, all the way up through Iraq and now in Ukraine, which is it's much less guys in trenches. It's much less direct military targets, but it's kind of the targets start to get amorphous. You're bombing. I mean, the Air Force is one big part of it. You're bombing villages, you're bombing people, which are just like these weird little kind of precision strikes that don't necessarily kind of gain you any ground or anything, but they are starting
like the cluster munition type of stuff.
All Air Force is kind of included in this because of the psychological effect of, hey, I could just fly 1,000 miles into your border, bomb something, and fly out. Kind of like that. And now keep in mind, all these generations of warfare, they're not linear. You don't move from one to the next or say, well, this is third generation, not first generation. They are all contained within the next one. And the next one is fifth generation. And the fifth generation is really trippy. And there's a couple of characteristics. I'm not going to be able to give you a full education on this, but I hope to talk about it some more in more episodes. But it's much less definable because fifth generation warfare is, in a sense, full domain, full spectrum warfare. This includes psychological operations. It includes cyber attacks. It includes corruption of government officials. It includes social engineering is a big part of it. So now, where before you had two nation states that had a disagreement and they fight it out to see who wins, fifth generation could also not include state actors at all. Fighting these wars is not two nation states trying to win. It's corporations, it's non-state actors, corporations, cartels, ideologies, things like this. We here on this show would call them network states. It's very tied into the network state idea. But just some things you might be able to fit into fifth generation warfare: cyber attacks, biological attacks, social engineering attacks, tearing a country apart from the inside through bipolarization politically, slowly taking out resources like food factories and stuff by setting them on fire one by one and letting it's not just about destroying the food resources, but it's also the psychological and political effect of doing it slowly and silently. You also have the programming and the corruption of politicians to act on behalf of not just another nation state. So it's not just the Confucius Institute coming in and corrupting young politicians to pass legislation favorable to China, but it's also for corporations, corporations coming in, getting government to act on their behalf and stuff. And a lot of people are saying that we're in a fifth generation war right now. Some of the defining characteristics of fifth generation war is you don't even really know it's happening until it's over. As a civilian, you don't even know you're in a war until it's over and people start telling you that, yeah, we just had a war type of thing. This is very new and it's still developing, and there's a lot of academics still happening. But there's just a little bit of background that will start to kind of connect a lot of stuff that we talk about on the show.
Yeah.
Propaganda is a big part of it.
Yeah, I was going to say the wiki page mentions the Arthur C. Clarke quote, which I also quoted in Age of Deceit 2, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that being a main characteristic of fifth generation warfare, at least according to Wikipedia. You can maybe agree or disagree with me, but
it's fun. Mm-hmm. It's fun because just as a comment, when you start researching fifth generation warfare, there's a lot of scholars and academics that hate the fifth generation warfare Wikipedia page.
Because the Wikipedia page specifically.
Yeah. Specifically the Wikipedia page. And a lot of people are claiming that intelligence agencies and stuff are specifically trying
actually
to
part
confuse
of the,
people with the
part of the warfare.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're in the warfare. If you look it up on Wikipedia, you're in the warfare. Which, by the way,
part of the warfare.
I all I did to find it, was I used my fingers, my digits here, and type it on a keyboard and look it up on the internet. And you know how the Bible just applies to everything, and you can just apply it to anything in the world, even our generation here. Psalm 144, verse 1. It says here, a psalm of David, blessed be the Lord my strength, which teaches my hands for war and my fingers to fight. I think the Bible was talking about keyboard warriors, Basil.
Keyboard warriors.
For our generation, we read that and we go, oh, yeah, 5th generation warfare. We fight with our fingers, typing on keyboards and stuff. This is very much war. So, yeah, I didn't realize it. We just, I guess we're a squadron in some kind of 5th generation warfare. And maybe that's why
apparently
we don't get any, help from the YouTubes and the different platforms. Seriously. They see us as the enemy to their
winning
whole situation. Okay, so yeah, a great summary there. I think we'll use the context or the ideas of 5th generation warfare a lot in reference as we move forward. And one of them is in the context of drones.
Drone strikes have saved lives. Can we shoot them down if over our property? Drones.
And you had mentioned it, and this is built into our value for value model here, the idea that we don't accept any money from corporations or cartels. It's actually in our jingle.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
It's very appropriate because the Daily Beast here has an article. The wrong people just got their hands on an elite drone unit.
Ooh.
Let's find out who.
Who's the wrong people? Were they MAGA?
Mexico, one of Mexico's most violent cartels, has just created its own elite unit of drone operators, a highly trained group of sicarios dedicated to tweaking commercial drones and turning them into flying bombs to use against rival cartels and Mexican authorities, according to U.S.-based security analysts, Mexican officials, and cartel members who spoke with the Daily Beast. Oh, Daily Beast got a little...
Ukraine. Ukraine walked so the Jalisco New Generation Cartel could run.
The ruthless Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG for its Spanish acronym, began weaponizing commercial drones more than 4 years ago, according to research and Mexican authorities. The creation of specialized drone units, however, indicates that the cartel is shifting its drone operations into high gear. Quote, we began training as a group in 2021, but only this year we started operating. A Jalisco Cartel New Generation member of the Operadores Droneros, drone operators,
Operadores Droneros,
told the Daily Beast on the condition of anonymity. This is the line. This is the line where I think of how do you say who in Spanish? Is it quién? I think it's quién, right? It's like the scene,
I don't know.
The scene from like the back room where they're trying to figure out who the snitch is talking to the Daily Beast. The group is mostly dedicated to finding and attacking rival cartels like Los Viagras, Knights Templar of Michoacan, and the Sinaloa cartel in Jalisco, the cartel operator said. Quote, depends on which drone we use, but we can be miles away and confirm that they, the rivals, are at a certain house or vehicle and then crash the drone with the explosives, he said. Oh my gosh, this is craziness. The group has even come up with its own patch to distinguish themselves among the ranks of henchmen of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, according to researchers at CO Futures. It consists of an image of a quadcopter drone and the face of a skull at the center. The patch has the CJNG letters at the bottom and the words Operadores Droneros at the top. The group is allegedly composed of a dozen men, the 12 disciples, and currently operates only in Michoacan and Jalisco states, according to the cartel operator. Quote, the Operadores Droneros is still a new and not widespread group inside the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, but that doesn't mean it is harmless. They have enough power to focus our attention on them, a Mexican intelligence official told Mexico's army. What? A Mexican intelligence official inside Mexico's army told the Daily Beast, requesting to remain anonymous. And we have an image of the patch here, and as described, it's got the Operadores Doneros up the top with the star. You got the skull. It's kind of got like a headband. It's a skull and crossbones, but the skull itself is smiling as a kind of a headband looking thing. I think each bone, it looks like a knives. It looks like, I don't know, table knives, like butter knives or something in each of his hands. I'm going to stop reading this article there because I want to jump over to. Oh, did you want to say something about it before we?
Oh no, I mean I was just going to say we're starting to see, it's very interesting to see the fifth generation aspect of this.
Yeah,
meaning through the Ukrainian war, human beings have started to hone this drone warfare thing. It really is part of what's going on. They're testing this new way of doing war with small drones. Of course, the US has had gigantic missile drones for a long time, but these tiny little commercial drones and surgical strikes strategies is new. I mean, it's really only about 2 years old. And it only took about 2 years, less than 2 years maybe, to go from, the backing of the United States equipping Ukraine, and Ukraine being a rascally little force who's figured out how to effectively use them. And now it's been exported to cartels. I mean, you have cartels who are ready to fight a war on par with how the Ukraine military, backed up by the hundreds of billions of dollars sent from the West, is also fighting a war. It's leveling this playing field. And the fact that they're non-state actors, but could still be used for ideological purposes, is very fifth-gen warfare.
Sounds like the Wagner Group.
Very much like the Wagner Group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as part of this conversation here, so again, like we're seeing the rogue elements, the cartels, become modernized, I guess, into warfare in a certain way. And that means that the establishment itself needs to have its own development. And so we will go there now. We're talking about Space Force. You know what? I didn't prepare the jingle for Space Force, but I do have it here.
Space Force.
Space Force.
A spaceship.
They make their sound, which is kind of like a
spaceship. Space Force. This is coming from space.com. U.S. Space Force creates first unit dedicated to targeting adversary satellites. So while the cartels are going to be fighting each other through drones on the ground, allegedly higher up, it's going to be something else. There's a quote here for the subtitle of the article. We are changing the way targeting is done across the joint community when it comes to space and electromagnetic warfare.
Ooh.
And right from the get-go, the header image is the patch of the 75th Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Squadron, the ISRS. I memorized it quickly. It's a good one because it's like the ISS, the International Space Station, and the IRS, the government agency. And you combine that, ISRS. It's the patch logo here that I wanted to point out. Which, how would you describe this, Basil? You're good at doing the descriptors. Yeah.
We've got a vertically oriented oval with a gray border, the background of which is sort of a scaled dragon scale, dark background. Mm-hmm. In front of that, you've got sort of an illusion-like triangle.
There's a name for I think it's like
it's the impossible shape triangle. Where it's got, kind of has a three-dimensional vibe, but could never be
Penrose triangle. That's
Penrose triangle. Yeah. There you go. It's got, and the Penrose triangle is sort of a deep red. The number 75 is in deep red underneath the triangle, and inside the triangle, sort of poking its head out of the triangle to say, out of this impossible shape is the Grim Reaper, a very spooky-looking, skeleton-faced, smiling man with a glint in his eye, wearing a scary Grim Reaper hood. I mean, it's very, very menacing.
It looks like something Sir Dove would have come up with for one of our badges
as a joke. Yeah,
as a
we
joke.
might need to do a Canary Cry patch, and we should. I mean, we've got Dove's done a great job of designing some of the merit badges, but we might need to do like a Space Force type patch.
Canary Cry Squadron
in the supply drop. There,
The one thing to note: the nose of the Grim Reaper is in the shape of the Space Force logo, which kind of looks like the Star Trek logo. So I think that's why they snuck it in there. But I mean, hey, there they are, and they're going to be the unit that's again tracking, adversarial satellites and things of that nature, which I thought was interesting. The story is about a week old, but announcing these types of things right around all the Hawaii stuff is interesting.
Yeah,
if it in fact was either another country or some third party thing using a little more higher level technology like electromagnetics or
well, I mean,
energy.
and electromagnetics is interesting because on one hand, there's a lot of targeting that is powered by electromagnetics, and that's kind of what they're trying to say here.
Yeah.
But I mean, electromagnetic warfare includes lasers.
Yep.
Like that's also lasers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quote here from Lieutenant Colonel Travis Anderson. Quote, "Today is a monumental time in the history of our service," Anderson said. "The idea of this unit began 4 years ago on paper and has probably been in the minds of several U.S. Air Force intelligence officers for even longer." So you have this. Apparently, this has been in the I don't know, the workshop for quite some time.
Yeah, everything military is.
The fact that they are focusing on satellites through electromagnetic warfare is very interesting because the majority of satellites that are in the firmament as we speak, the vast majority of them are non-state actors. They are corporate machines that are being, utilized, leased, rented, or have the capabilities sold to governments. So again, you have this move away from nation states, this move away from your classical warfare descriptions to this fifth generation warfare, which is actually it's corporations doing the warfare, not even just building the machines, but operating the weapons at the behest of, honestly, I mean, governments is one way to put it, but whoever's got the money, whoever's paying, that's who's using the weapons. That is an ideological war. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. I messaged you last night about it, Basil, but I did write a book about all this about 10 years ago.
Yes.
So it might be,
and it's the talk of the town right now. We're looking at some possibilities when it comes to that book. We'll be taking a look at it.
Yep. Let's just wrap it up here with a quick COVID because I know you're limited on time. You got another doctor's appointment and
just about up to my limit here. But this is kind of what I mean. This part kind of sums the whole show up for
the warfare aspect. Think warfare,
which is we got a lot of distractions, and in the background of the distractions, we are probably in right now. We are living through a fifth generation war, and theguardian.com. Interestingly enough, little hints of this have been showing themselves over the past month or so. And right in the midst of the Trump mugshot distraction extravaganza, we get articles like this from The Guardian. Americans at high risk advised to wear masks as new COVID variant detected. And I'll save the labor of reading this article, but we've seen it. We see it pretty much every day now. And it remains the fact that people are kind of onto this now because Alex Jones recently came out and said he talked to a TSA whistleblower that he trusts and that they're planning on starting to clamp down COVID-wise again in mid-September. And then by October, they hope to be in sort of full-fledged COVID hysteria, making everybody wear masks. And then by December, the rumor is that is when lockdowns and full sort of COVID operations will get back. Now that it's based on this variant.
Yeah. See, what's interesting though is that because it's Alex Jones and because the way that info spread in the alt world, the alt media world, Now I'm kind of highly skeptical, but maybe, you never know with these things, especially with the 5th generation warfare stuff. It's you never know who's doing what for what reason, and that's what makes it so confusing and hard.
Yeah.
But
yeah, even if Alex Jones is a CIA operation or has influences that people would question, the veracity of what he's saying, if he is right, and he almost always is right, it's part of the operation is kind of giving that forewarning. Again, he may or may not be telling the truth. He may or may not be, acting on his own recognizance, is that what it is? Whatever it is. He may be operating on behest of some organization, but regardless of the fact he is saying it, and immediately we start seeing these clues popping up. The message must be received in one way or another.
And the only thing I can think of is to stir more civil unrest, because so many people are awake to it if they really want rebellion.
Yeah.
In a certain way.
Yeah. The responses on X, formerly known as Twitter, are post after post after post of
people are fired up. They're fired up. We talked about this several months ago, how you have kind of a perfect storm to create that tension, and you can unleash it at any point.
It's like winding up the spring, winding up this rubber band where all you got to do is let it loose. And you got, full mobilization of, at least ideologically, including people who have changed their mind about the vaccine. Maybe they got vaccinated, but suddenly mainstream puts out all the stories about how they weren't studied, how we were lied to, how it's causing
all the conspiracy
problems.
Theories were right.
Exactly. All the conspiracy theories that were demonized are coming true. And you have a huge amount of people who are on a different side this time. And there's a lot of talk about stand up. We're standing up. You sat down the first time. We're standing up this time.
That's
and we
why.
saw January 6th how seemingly, passionate messages can be twisted and construed as threatening terrorism.
Right.
And all this talk about standing up, it's just a matter of time before CNN is like, oh, if you stand up, you're a terrorist. Sit down. What are you doing? It's the tinderbox is definitely primed for some serious movement here.
So you know what Alex Jones is?
The canary
what he is?
Oh, you stepped on it. Darn it.
He's sorry. He's a war-hardened goblin.
I know he is, but he's also
the canary in the coal mine.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. It's a little quiet, but I heard it.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just playing.
No worries.
Okay, let's thank some talented producers on our way out here, and
let's do it.
And for their time as well. We're going to actually. We got Speak Pipe. I don't know if we have time for that. Should we save the Speak Pipe? Because I think we have some good ones.
Pipe.
Yeah, we'll save the Speak Pipe.
Apologize. That's my fault
for these. But they're good. Thank you to Rochelle and Lady Night Little Wing for sending them. We'll play them on Monday, just because I want Basil to make sure he makes the appointment here. But we will do a little audio production here.
Audio production.
All right, we got something from Little Owen, which, by the way, Little Owen, I've been playing his tracks kind of consecutively, almost like an album form, because he's got so many songs he sent us. Especially while I work. It's great background music for me. So thank you for that, Little Owen. He says, thanks for all who make Canary Cry News Talk happen. Thanks, Basil and Gons, for your long-term devotion to the work of Christ. I pray strength and refreshing in the Lord for all here. If you don't put your faith in Jesus Christ, please consider doing so. The hour is truly late, and there is only one name you can be saved by. Jesus is coming soon. Words of songs of the song today, taken from 1 Thessalonians 4, verses 13 and 14, and 1 Corinthians 15, verses 51 and 52. Here's a few seconds of that. We'll play the full 3-minute and 30-second song here. I see what you did there, Little Owen. At the end of the show, here's just a taste of it now. I know you're getting hooked, but you gotta wait. You gotta wait. Gotta wait.
Tinglies.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lil Owen.
Thank you, Lil Owen. All right, we're gonna do art.
One art, please.
Coming from Sir Dove, of course.
One art, please, from Dove.
And Sir Dove served a note that reads, "Peace. For today's artwork, I did a potential sticker design for the supply drop a couple weeks back. You guys shared another article about Commander roaming the halls of the White House and attacking more Secret Servicemen, and how it was probably Hunter in a dog suit." And I remembered DC's football team is the Commanders. And their mascot was originally to be a German Shepherd. What a missed career opportunity for ol' Hunter.
Wait, is that serious? That DC has a football team, and they're the Commanders?
Yeah. They changed from the I'm going to say it because we're value for value, the Redskins.
Yeah, the Redskins.
Yeah,
right.
Washington Redskins, and then they were the Washington football team for a while, and then they landed on Commanders.
I didn't know it was Washington, D.C. For some reason, I always thought it was Washington State. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy. When did they change it? Was Biden in office?
He might have been.
Commander?
We need a full research team on this to pull out a timeline.
We need to dig into that rabbit hole. I smell some corruption when it comes to naming the D.C. football team after the president's dog.
Yeah.
But this is hilarious. Thank you, Sir Dove. We've got a sort of a sticker design or a patch design here. It says Washington Commander. It's the gold and the red colors of the team. Washington on the top, Commander down across the bottom. We've got some upside down little Baphomet stars smiling on either side. And in the middle, you've got ol' Hunter himself. What is his name? His real name's like Robert or something.
I don't know.
But you got Hunter Biden with his half-lidded eyes and his scruff and his
methy eyes.
Yeah, it's kind of swaggery smile on his face. But he's in a football mascot's costume. He's got dog arms. He's in the big furry costume, and he's holding the head of the mascot under his arm there, and it is Commander. It is Commander. The dog's sort of, or the president's homicidal dog, who has been in so much trouble over the years for attacking up to a dozen Secret Service members. The numbers of victims of this dog are just almost unbelievable.
He's protecting the sovereigns. He's for the sovereigns. He's against all this corruption that he sees all around him.
Yeah, and of course we've got our own theories about exactly how that's playing out in sort of the occult realm. But thank you very much, Sir Dove. This is an excellent. We'll put this on the list. And if you like the sticker, folks, go join the supply drop by going to Canary Cry Supply Drop or Canary Cry babysittersclub.com. And these stickers, they get printed, they get sent out. People have these all over the country, all over the world even.
Yep. All right. Quick microfiction, and then we got to get you out. So let's do it here. Oh, microfictions.
Microfiction.
Started off with Rung Smash.
The young man pulls a glass of sorry, hold on. We read this one last time. Was there a new one?
Oh, I thought I cut and pasted all the stuff. Oh, maybe I didn't.
I think you put in the one from last time. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I'm going so fast. I'm doing it. It's going great. Things are great. This is a good show. I don't care what anybody says. It's all I have. This show is all I have. It's a good show. Here it is. Is this it? Let's see. Nope, we don't have one for today's episode.
Stephen S. coming in.
Oh no, I don't hear any music. Oh gosh. There we go. Victor Borg 9 hollers over the phone. No, I said jetpacks, not jets, jetpacks. Boss, they're rolling F-16s off the ships. What else am I going to do with them? Victor huffs. Okay, route them to Congonda. Maybe she'll be happy with them.
The mystery is solved. We know why the weapons went that way.
The microfiction explains so many things of what we've seen over the past few weeks. Of course, this is regarding some stories about weapons from Ukraine showing up in Africa, mixed with the flying 7-foot tall alien attackers in Peru are actually illegal gold mining gang. And again, they were an illegal gold mining gang. I mean, talk about fifth generation warfare. One of the things is not just a cartel, but a cartel of miners. You know, they're not just even your regular criminals. They're just criminally mining gold.
Well, you got those kind of miners, and I'm sure we're going to have the other kind of miners. You know,
Yeah,
under 18 getting
right.
around with drones and blowing
Talk
things
about
up.
a black budget, for sure. All right. Well, thank you to everybody who made this show possible. Sorry, it's a little weird today. Hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. But thank you to all the producers, whether you're one of our executive producers today, our financial producers, our very talented artistic producers, or those who come in and help out with their time. Remember, you can send in any art or music or jingles or microfictions, whatever you do. If you're a creative person, go to canarycry.art to send that in, canarycry.art. If you have an article you'd like us to take a look at for the show, you can go to canarycry.report and send it to us that way. Or if you want to help us out with your time, go ahead and send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com. And I want to thank some people who come in who are essential to making this show happen, starting with the Clippies.
Clippy on those videos.
Thanks. That's right. Go to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. You'll see a ton of clips, shorter clips. If this, a couple hours of a show is too much for you, you can find anywhere from 1 minute to 20-minute clips over on Canary Cry Clips. Go subscribe, and thank you very much to the Clippies. And that job is made possible by the Timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Yeah, thank you to the Timestampers. They timestamp the show live. It goes into so much of our back-end processes. Very important job, and we're very grateful to Jade Bouncerson for doing the timestamps for episode 658, last episode. Thank you, Jade Bouncerson.
Yes.
And I'm told we just have an open call right now to Timestampers. So if somebody out there, maybe you love the show, you get value, but times are tough, you don't really have any extra income, or you're not an artist or something, being a Timestamper is a great way to put value back into the show. It's definitely a need we need filled right now. And yeah, it's easy. It's easy. And if you watch the show live anyways, you're there. It's a great way to help out the show. Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Mr. Chris.
Yeah, Mr. Chris sent a very interesting little rabbit trail article about some stuff that was, I guess, some ideas proposed 67 years ago that were accidentally confirmed recently. So yeah, good stuff. We might talk about it.
We'll take a deeper look. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
thank you.
122go2 is the other guy or gal who sent in links. They've sent in speaking of fifth generation warfare, the number 2 YouTube video right now, the last few days, the Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan, he makes the animated science videos and stuff. Very popular.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's Kyrgyzstan or Kyrgyzstan or whatever. They mention how they're funded by Open Philosophy or Philanthropy. I'm sorry, Open Philanthropy. And the whole thing is the nuke scenario, like what happens to presidents, and it kind of poo-poos the idea of we really shouldn't have one guy on either side, either continent, be the only person that has the keys to nuclear, whole nuclear situation and the pressures and all that kind of stuff. Psychological Warfare 101, very popular video, millions of views, all these people sitting through what it would be like to be a president and have the pressures of being in that situation, and then sort of projecting ideas of how we can change that and da-da-da-da-da. But it's its own psychological warfare video, so very interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
going
that's
long,
great.
but thank you for that.
We'll make that available. Yeah. Thank you very much to Clank for doing all your clanky things. Thank you very much. We got your email. Looks great. And other than that, folks, share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your people. People are waking up. People are getting scared. People are like Gonza's brother-in-law says things are getting futury. I don't know what to do.
Man.
And especially with new COVID stuff coming up, the people's minds, people's hearts, they're open. They're wide open. Thanks to the ongoing psychological operations of our government and other ideologically driven forces in this fifth generation warfare, people's minds and hearts have been cracked open and they are looking for answers. And now is a great time to share the show with them. You can do that by posting on your social media. Word of mouth is always the best way. But you can always figure out something weird, figure out something funky. Some people like to do things the hard way. And one very difficult way you could share the show is by getting very good at drones. Get a drone. Here's the thing, folks. Drones, they're not as hard as they look. People talk about them like there's some sort of revolutionary technology. We've learned from the Jalisco New Generation cartel that they're basically just a skull with butter knives attached to it. So go ahead, go to your kitchen, get some butter knives, go get that skull you've had attached to the skeletons in your closet, and build yourself a drone. Start flying that sucker around, and then inevitably...
Are those propellers on that logo? I get it now. I thought they were butter knives, but there was the propellers of the drone. Okay,
it's propellers,
all right,
Johns,
that
but
makes
they're
sense.
made of butter knives, and so everybody can just build their own drone, become some sort of I don't know, elite criminal gang that's funded to have. Yeah, don't do crime. Only do good. But here's the
Vigilante.
thing. Yeah. Whereas the Jalisco New Generation gang has a squadron of dudes attaching explosives to drones and flying them into other people's houses, you can attach a podcast to the drone. How? You'll figure it out. You're a smart kid. Go ahead, put a podcast on a drone and fly that directly into your favorite normie's house. Don't hurt the house. Find an open window and just kind of hover outside the window and turn up the podcast really, really loud so they don't have to hear the you got to drown out the buzzing of the super sneaky drone that you've placed maybe outside their window, maybe up above their chimney so you can play the podcast down through their fireplace, maybe follow their car around while they're driving around with the windows down during the summer. All sorts of ways to get close to people and start playing this podcast in public, folks. I believe in you. You'll figure out a way. We like to call it rattling cages, but if you need any other instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Ask Noah, that's right. Gons, you got any last words?
Yeah, we should probably create some kind of document or something that clarifies our methodology as Canarians of the fifth generation warfare. Because, we probably want to be clear about what we mean when we're telling people
make sure that the FBI, the CIA don't think we're starting some sort of militia.
Right. Yeah, like an actual
drone militia.
Yeah, we don't want anything to do with the fourth generation warfare. We'll stick to the fifth, I suppose.
Yeah, and we're more we're teaching defense tactics is what we're doing.
Sure. Yeah, that's those are good lines. Yes, defending is always
fifth. We are equipping other sovereign humans with the defense tactics to keep them and their families safe.
Defense of their minds
in the ongoing fifth generation war that is happening as we speak. Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Goodbye. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
This is the United
as they can bear, for God's sake. Armageddon's on the way. Give me a break.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Cosmos, children in the
space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space lane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward on board. The passengers experienced 3 G's of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
Avius anchor.
We have Bezos. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space, children in the cosmos. With your best friend, brother. Wives in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
That you saw or not, even as others.
of the day gets to feeling like a maze. It's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry awaits. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry awaits. Canary, cry awaits. Oh, canary, cry awaits. Oh, the world's changing every day, each and every way you turn. There's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race until it's done. Come on, everyone. Canary, cry awaits. Oh, canary, cry awaits. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry away.
Bye 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 bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Canary cry, that's a poem.